it away. All right, everyone. Good evening again. My name is Jim Whitaker, and we're excited to have you here with us tonight as we talk about the ways that UMass Lowell is responding to the global pandemic that's impacted us for really since the last year at this time. And so over the course of the year, we've listened to a lot of our parents, our family members, and also our students about what they feel like would be helpful for them to be successful at UMass Lowell. And so some of these that we've taken away from the conversations with those students, parents, and family members are things that we're doing for next year to respond to those needs that have been talked and shared with us. So the first one of the ones that we have done as a UMass Lowell Responds is we've reduced our room rates to be lower than most state schools, and we'll walk you through those later in the presentation. We're also excited about, we've created a new flexible and right-sized meal plans based on student feedback. We've also developed a cohort housing model to allow students flexibility to live with others based on individual comfort level. And next year, we will still offer single rooms for those that aren't comfortable living with individuals. And then also, we're going to bring back some of our living learning communities for next year. So we're going to be focusing on our engineering, health, and honors living learning communities, which are going to provide residents with an additional opportunity for engagement.
Okay, so for the academic year 21-2022, all of our residence halls are intended to be open. This year, only our East Campus halls are open, which is Riverhawk Village, University Suites, Fox Hall, Donahue Hall, Leach, and Bourgeois. This upcoming year, we're expanding back over to South Campus and opening up Riverhawk Village, River. It's been so long since we've had them open that I'm forgetting their names. Riverview West and Riverview East, as well as Sheehy and Concordia. So those halls will be open, which is different from this current year. Our traditional style halls will remain as they are this year. There'll be single rooms and all of our double occupancy rooms and triple occupancy rooms will also be singles for next year. The quads for next year, which there are a very limited number in each of those buildings, will be at double capacity. So there are, like I said on here, it's important to note that if your student is planning on living in one of those Leach, Bourgeois, Fox, Concordia buildings, it's important to note that best laid plans would be to plan for a single and not for having a roommate there unless they're like the very, very first lottery pick. However, we, as Jim stated in our last slide, we are offering our students the opportunity to live together. We did hear feedback from students this year that they, some of them felt comfortable as a group of students being able to live together. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to accommodate them, and we've felt like our suite and apartment style options were the best space for our cohort housing style housing. So those will be shared bedrooms within those suites and apartments. And those locations include University Suites, Riverhawk Village, Donahue, Sheehy, Riverview Suites East and West. And as stated here, just like this year, the ICC will remain isolation and quarantine housing. And as Jim stated on the slide earlier, we have reduced our rates for the next upcoming year. They're lower than they have been over the past 5 years here at UMass Lowell. Each year I've been here, we've seen a slight increase year to year. This is the first year I've been here that we've seen a decrease. So it's exciting move forward to make sure that we're responding and understanding everybody's needs are different, and students have been impacted financially based off of this pandemic. So as you can see here are the rates for next year. These are also located in our housing application when the students do apply for housing, and they are also listed on our website now as well.
Great, and I'm going to take it from the meal plan side. And so, like Jim and Erin had mentioned, student feedback has really been critical in developing the plan for next year. And so we've developed the following meal plans for both our traditional and suite style buildings, as well as those in an apartment style. So right now the plan is for all students who are in traditional or suite style rooms. They will have a unlimited meal plan and 200 Riverhawk dollars. And the meals will be available for use at Fox Dining Commons and McGovern Dining Commons, which is on South. And students this year, you know, we've had the unlimited meal plan, and it's really worked well to give students the most flexibility that, you know, when they're hungry, they can go eat, and there's nothing to track, there's nothing to budget. They basically just have all access to the dining facilities. And then for our students in apartment style housing, there will be a meal plan that is 7 meals per week, and that's going to come with 1,000 Riverhawk dollars. And again, this is all based off of student feedback and, you know, how they are looking to use their meals. Though our apartment style students can upgrade if they'd like to the unlimited meal plan as described earlier as well, so that they, you know, don't have to worry about cooking or anything like that. You know, they have that all access dining as well. There will be retail locations open on campus. The final list is yet to be decided on, so more to come there. And there will certainly be more information on the Res Life website on that, as well as on the dining website, which there'll be a link to as well. So we're excited to have, you know, kind of expanded meal plans for next year. And, you know, again, based on student feedback, we're excited for the new mix.
So one of the reasons that students choose to live on campus, besides the convenience and being close to the class and activities that are offered by the university, is also because of the ability they have to engage with other residential students and get to meet folks from different states and countries. So in the residential education area of residence life, we have our residential engagement model, and it's really propagated against an educational priority that we use, which is the first paragraph that's on the screen. But our 4 learning goals that we then strive and provide engagement events or opportunities around really are student engagement. So we want to get them connected to the university, to university clubs and organizations, to students on their floor, and then students on their building. So we spend quite a bit of time at the first beginning of each semester focusing on engaging the students and getting them involved. The reason why they're at college is to get that education. And so we partner with our academic colleagues at the university to provide some academic success initiatives within the residence halls, whether that be actually inviting in someone from the Centers for Learning to do a presentation about study skills, or actually hosting tutoring in the residence halls. Our academic success initiatives we take very seriously and put forward. Then we also look at the responsibility and the opportunity that we have from the students from all over the country, all over the world living on our campus. And so we really do focus on intercultural competence and try to build that to create global citizens that can go forward after they leave UMass Lowell and help continue to build a more diverse and inclusive world. And then the last part of it is some basic life skills. That first time they're away from home, for a first-year student, maybe the first time some folks are doing laundry. And so it's still not uncommon to hear about students during that first time have their white laundry become pink because they washed something red with that. So life skills of doing that is one thing, but it's also about teaching them how to live cooperatively, how to confront people in a cooperative manner, and then also just learning things like if they've never learned to ride the MBTA and take the train into Boston, we do programs that take them in that way as well. As I mentioned earlier, we will have our living learning communities that will be available for next year. There will be 3 that we're going to focus on as we bring our staffing back up to what it was pre the pandemic. And the first one will be HEAL, which is located in Riverview Suites, which is focused on health majors. The second one is the Commonwealth Honors Program Living Learning Community, which is in University Suites. And then our last one we'll be focusing on engineering, which is going to be in Leach Hall for next year. Ways that students can get involved on campus specifically in the residence halls, is we do have the Residence Hall Association. To explain a little bit more what that is, it's really like a student government for the residence halls. So Residence Hall Association provides programs as well as listens to concerns and performs advocacy for residential students. And they also serve as part of the University Student Government Association through representation. For this year, we've operated with a guest and visitor guidelines that have 5 different levels of, as far as based on what the current virus COVID positivity rate is within the community, what we're receiving from our health experts on our campus, as well as state and federal guidelines that are given to us as well. We're in the process of still revisiting what this will be for next year, but we are hopeful and anticipate that we should be able to do something that will reflect pre-COVID visitation and guest guidelines this fall, but we'll have more information updated on our website about that. Our common areas and lounges in the buildings, we're again hopeful that based again on direction that we're seeing and guidance that we're getting, that we should be able to have the majority of our common areas and lounges open. There could still potentially be some reduced capacity within those spaces for next year. We were able to open up in our traditional buildings, our common areas and lounges with a maximum occupancy. And I would anticipate in the fall that students will be required to wear face coverings as we are right now. And again, all that information will be updated as we move in and get closer to the fall and we get more guidance.
So we want to also walk you through the housing selection timeline for current students. And so we're just gonna briefly walk through and share some dates and milestone points throughout the process. So the priority housing application submission date for students is May 5th. And so really that's an important date to keep in mind. And if your student is interested in living on campus, to be sure to have their housing application completed through the online housing portal by that day so that they can participate in the room selection process. On May 6th, the day after the priority housing application deadline, students will be emailed with roommate selection information and time slot information. And so they'll get information on when they can actually go into the system and be able to choose their living space. Students will also be notified on this day if they were accepted into a living learning community, and students will be able to decline acceptance on the housing portal prior to roommate matching if they decide that they would not want to do that. On May 10th, roommate matching opens at 1 p.m. for students with submitted applications. And so students will be able to start searching and communicating to find a roommate. And students not planning to live in a suite or apartment or double bedroom are not required to participate in roommate matching. And so if your student knows that they want to live in one of those traditional style halls where they would have a room to themselves, they don't need to search for a roommate or participate in that process. So the room selection period for all upper class students, this is both living learning community and non-living learning community students, is May 18th and May 20th. Students will be provided again with a time slot on when they can log in to the housing portal and select their room. And then students who do not select their own room during their assigned time period will be assigned a room by housing staff using the preferences that were noted in their housing application as space is available to meet those preferences. And then room selection for first year students will begin in July. And so incoming first year students will go through that same process after our current and returning students. And then just a brief note about move-in. Student move-in will begin on August 23rd and go through August 30th. We're again extending that move-in time period to allow for continued social distancing and a more spread out move-in to avoid large crowds amassing. And so students will be given the opportunity in the housing portal to sign up for a move-in time during this week in August. And students will be able to leave items in return if they don't want to stay during that entire period, or they can stay in their room. And so that's up to them. For our panelists, did I miss anything with that room selection timeline? Okay. Great. So before we open it up to questions, I'm going to end our recording.